preparing for 2011 HSC in Extension 1 Maths. My name's Kath Whalen and I'm the Head Teacher Maths at Hornsby Girls. My experience in Extension 1, I've been teaching it for quite a few years now and have also, up until recently, been one of the senior markers on Extension 1. So here's a bit of an overview of what we're going to look at. Just some of the things that I think are important in making sure that you're as fully prepared for the exam as you possibly can be. Just a bit of background. Last year there were about just under 9,500 HSC students who sat the Extension 1 exam, which was a bit of an increase on the year before. And each of the 7 questions that you will be answering get marked by 5 experienced maths teachers. A senior marker and 4 markers. The marking guidelines are set by the exam committee who actually set the paper. So the markers don't have any, we have a bit of flexibility when it comes to marking, but it has to follow the actual guidelines. And they're about the process. So that to me is the most important thing. What's the process that you've used to get the correct answer? Part marks for questions are allocated according to the guidelines. So if something's worth 2 marks, then in fact there's 3 marks we can allocate, 0, 1 or 2. And we look at what you need to do to get 1 mark and then what you need to do to get both marks. So we look at all the possible methods. So for example, in Extension 1, if you are using an Extension 2 approach to answering one of these questions and you've done it correctly, then of course you're going to get the marks. However, I would suggest for Extension 2 students, you don't need to. Anything that's in the Extension 1 exam is from Extension 1 content. Now this is really important because sometimes students have a go at a question and they've got it wrong, so they have another go, and then maybe the first one was right and they're not quite sure what to do. So if you've answered a question and you think what you've done is wrong, cross it out and replace it. If you don't cross it out, then always your second attempt is the one that is taken to be the one that needs to be marked. Okay? If you did cross it out and it was in fact what you wanted to give as an answer, just write next to it, mark this. Because even if it's crossed out and not replaced, we mark it as if it was your final answer. If, however, you have a perfect solution to a question worth more, 2 or 3 marks, and then you replace it with absolute rubbish, which doesn't happen very much, but if the second answer would get 0, but the first one would have got 2, then you will get 1 mark, because you've got a 1 mark penalty for choosing the wrong solution. We never use half marks. So depending on your school, sometimes at assessments, they may use half marks, but in the HSC you don't. Sometimes you may actually get full marks before you get to the final absolute correct numerical answer. But I would still suggest you go all the way down to the correct full answer rather than second guessing. So transcription errors, for example, where you copy a question from the paper and you make a slight mistake to the number of, or something on the actual question, as long as what you've done doesn't make the question any easier, then you should not be penalised. But they're absolutely not something that you practice. It's just very important that you copy down from the paper correctly.